thing that is needed in order to be considered, the favorite or a team that's guaranteed to go to the finals. No, they have work to do. But boy, when I tell you that the entire league looking around seeing James Harden all of a sudden wake up and get 14 assists in his debut, to see Kevin Durant go for 42. And this is what I like. Kevin Durant is a scorer. Kyrie Irving, even though he is a point guard, is also a scorer. But what you know with James Harden is that he has led the league in assists. So he knows how to get himself involved. He knows how to get some teammates involved. So when everyone's talking about, okay, well, who's going to handle the ball? Who's going to do this? I think James Harden really running that point and allowing Kyrie and KD to be just dominant scorers and him being the person that kind of navigates his game, I think that could be a real problem.
Well, I mean, no question about it. And, Richard, I think that was one of the things that stood out most, right? First few possessions out of the gate, Harden was all about distributing, breaking down his performance tonight as we take a look, Richard. What'd you see from James Harden?
Well, again, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at, I said the role players, and I love what Joe Harris did. I loved seeing Bruce Brown, that play late in the game where it was Harden to Durant. Then all of a sudden, Durant makes the right play and throws it to a wide open Bruce Brown. Those are the guys that have to knock down shots when you look at championship teams. It's the Bruce Brown. It's the Joe Harris, because the stars are going to get attention. And with James Harden, Kyrie, these are guys that entire defenses, a team spends their entire practice and focus. How do we stop James Harden? How do we stop Kevin Durant? When they were on individual teams, now you have all three of them on the same team. It's going to be nearly impossible. They are going to be getting more single coverage than they have ever had. For Kevin Durant, a guy that played with the Splash Brothers, now all of a sudden he's got a very, very similar spacing because you have so many quality players. And James Harden, again, it just goes down to his assists. His assists are the things that are going to make this team run.
Well, 32 points, 14 assists, 12 rebounds. You add in 4 steals as well. Did have 9 turnovers. And I like that was one of the first things he brought up to Michael Grady in his post-game interview, saying, I got to clean up the turnovers. But, Richard, I think what was so striking, and we've already talked about it some, was, people have seen James Harden play a certain way in Houston over the last couple of years. And so there have been conversations about, dribbling the air out of the basketball, how are they going to continue to get everyone involved. But these players wanted this, which obviously shows their inclination to want to do whatever they have to win. And James Harden has shown that ability to play make, and it's not just that he has the skills to do it, Richard. There's the buy-in now to not play the way he was in Houston and to access more of those playmaking abilities, and we saw that already in Game 1.
Ryan, I 100% agree with you. What you have to do is you have to look around the league sometimes. And James Harden has led the league in assists. And then as his team and the dynamic of a team started to change, he then started to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go and average 34 points a game. Look at a guy like LeBron James. You add Anthony Davis on his team, and what does he do? He goes and leads the league in assists at 10 a game. I really think that James Harden, even though we're in the very beginning of the season, could lead the league in assists if he chooses to play that way. And so when you ask James, like, James, what is your goal? Sometimes it's to be the leading scorer. Sometimes it's to be the MVP. These guys that are on this tier, when you talk about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden and LeBron James, they can adjust their game. It's all a matter about what they want to do on the basketball floor. So if you tell James, like, James, we need you to average 25 and 10, or we need to average 26 and 11, he can go and do that, and pretty much with ease, especially with the arsenal around him. So I think this was a quick message to everyone on this team, everyone in this league, that, look, they're going to be able to move the ball. They're going to be able to score. The next step that we're going to be talking about is how do they play that high-level team defense that's going to be needed when you're talking about the postseason.
You know, Richard, during the game, I thought Sarah had a very poignant and simultaneously funny remark when she said, it feels like Kevin Durant is a veteran here now with all the attention on James Harden, the newcomer, and it sort of does, but you watch the performance tonight and you realize by FanDuel Sportsbook, Kevin Durant getting ready to go, spent 3 years playing with James Harden in Oklahoma City. Those two will be reunited for the first time since 2012 tonight. And are they in the starting lineup together? Oh, you bet they are. The starters, Durant and Harden, joined by Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan, and Jeff Green. As Michael Grady just told us, Kyrie Irving still not back. Could be back Monday, depending on how he ramps back up to basketball activities. But, Richard, what do you think about this Nets starting five and the way it looks tonight with Harden and Durant both in there?
Honestly, that looks like a lot of firepower to me. I'm actually really, really excited. You know, everybody's worried about fit. Well, the only way to make things fit is to spend time working on it, getting to know each other, playing in a new system. Obviously, there's familiarity when you have D'Antoni on this staff, and Steve Nash is very familiar. So there's a lot of relationships. Everyone's worried about the fit, but James Harden had his best years with D'Antoni. Steve Nash obviously won an MVP with him as a coach also. So to have him on the sideline next to Steve Nash is huge. And I think it's going to be really, really big and really, really key as how quickly this group can really start to blend.
Now, the Nets officially introduced James Harden yesterday, but it was actually just a little while ago when the deal became officially official with a little tweak. Became a 4-team trade. There was a little hiccup reportedly with Karis LeVert's physical, and so the Pacers ended up getting an additional second-round pick as well as some cash to complete this deal officially in time for James Harden to play tonight for the Brooklyn Nets. The man who orchestrated it all for Brooklyn and has brought them Durant, Irving, and Harden, Sean Marks, sat down one-on-one with our Michael Grady.
All right, Sean, first things first. Is it now championship or bust in Brooklyn?
The jersey is hanging. The kicks are ready.
Great question.
The Brooklyn
I think we're going to own it. We're going to own the fact that we've built this team to go as far as we possibly can. We want to be the last team standing. That's
reunited with Kevin Durant. For the first
my guess
time.
is there's 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that all have those same realistic expectations as well. And we're obviously trying to continue to build this roster, build this organization up to have sustainable success. So that's certainly the goal.
Take us back. Do you remember when you had your very first conversation with the Rockets about James Harden?
We're always checking in. My role and our front office's role is to always get the temperature of the league. So we're constantly checking in with a variety of different teams. I think on the James Harden front, we might have had a conversation maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Really was nothing to it, and I think this is where it really sped up over the last sort of 48 hours. Prior to the trade, when conversations were happening, very frequently.
With conversations that you're having with, personnel, players, also what you were seeing out there on the floor, why did you feel the timing was right now to make this move?
They're difficult decisions, and I'm not going to shy away from it. When you have to move the players that we did, and a huge thank you to Jared and Karis and Torian and Rhodey for all that they've done, for their time with the Nets, and they will be sorely missed without a doubt. So you have to weigh, everything that those guys brought, the fiber that they were a part of, and the fingerprints of this organization that they've all put all over here. And then also, you're saying, well, we have the opportunity here to add a franchise level talent in James Harden, who wants to be here, who wants to be part of this, who already has a pre-existing, relationship, with one of our star players. So, it's those are things, just to be quite frank, we couldn't shy away from it. And again, they met our organizational goals of where we want to be, over the next few years.
Sean, you came to Brooklyn without any draft picks to work with and built the franchise to where it is right now. How much trepidation was there on giving away so many picks in this deal?
Yeah,